morning, everybody. I'm going to let the last couple people come in here. If you don't mind, everybody turn off your cell phones, put them on vibrate, just so it doesn't interrupt any service and things like that. First, before I get started with announcements, I'm going to let Angela come up, and she's going to talk about our Welcoming the Warmth Expo that's this weekend, okay?
So we are having an amazing expo this coming weekend, and my participation in the expo is the final donations to acquire the Angel of Fire painting. And as you know, we've been working on that for a little over a month, and this is what half of it looks like. Yay! We are halfway there. So that is about, well, it's 100 little pebbles, so $1,000. So we're going to fill this up next week at the expo or before. So as you came in, you probably noticed some baskets and some actual clipboards that had people's some donations for healing services. There's going to be a lot more of those. I think I've only got 3 out there, and there should be like 6 or maybe 12 or 10. But we went ahead last night as we were making all these baskets, and I swear there was like 1,000, but there's not that many. But they have some amazing stuff in them. The donations were so great that we decided to do away with the raffle altogether because everything had such great value, and put everything in a basket. So that's what you see out there. There is a value on the basket. So we tried to market at a very fair market value. If you want to purchase those baskets before the silent auction or any of the services that you see up there at the value, you are more than welcome to do so. Those are donations that go to the Angel of Fire. So if you say, hey, I see Mary Jo she's donating a reading, and I just want this. I don't want to fight over it in an auction, and or maybe I won't be here. Then let me or Mary Jo know. We will happily take that donation and put it towards the painting. The same for every basket that's out there. So it's all up for grabs until the auction starts, and that will be at the time of the expo, starting at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. Then the option to buy will go away, and it's all up in the air. So if you've got your eye on something, go ahead and do that. The expo runs on Sunday from 1 till 5. So we're probably going to end that auction at 3 p.m. That's my suggested time. So if there's something that you want, make sure you get here at 3 p.m. Any questions or any ideas that we can add to our fundraiser? I think we're going to be there. I really think we're there. So give us lots of good energy, lots of prayers, and if there's anything that you just want to take home, you are welcome to. And if not, just look it over, because there's, like I said, good stuff. Also come in during the week. So if you want to, go ahead and check out the things before there are lots of people in the store, this week it will be a good time to do that. Thank you very much.
We do have a very busy week, it seems like, here at Illuminations. The relationship workshop that was for this afternoon has been canceled. I think Victoria was going to be the one doing that, and right now she's not feeling well, so we're just going to keep her in our thoughts and prayers. On Monday is Michael Lott's Kundalini yoga. That's going to be at 6:30. On Tuesday, we have Wendy West continuing her shamanism series, and that's going to be at 6 p.m. On Wednesday, we have Miss Marlene with her healing night with her crystal bowls, and if you've not been here before, you get to experience that after service this morning. That's at 6:30, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay. On Thursday is going to be the Pastoral ISC counseling service. That's based on the sliding scale. So if you'd like to come out and talk to somebody, that would be the night to do so. On Friday, we have a drum circle with Miss Jacqueline Gregory. That's always, from what I hear, a lot of fun. On Saturday is the start of the Welcoming the Warmth Expo. That's going to be from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. Then next Sunday, we have our guest speaker, Miss Carrie Wagner, is going to come out and talk to us.
We're going to talk about prosperity. Prosperity wisdom for body, soul, spirit, and pocketbook.
Awesome. So come out next Sunday. And also on next Sunday is the last Sunday of our month. So it's potluck. So everybody bring out your favorite dish and all that good stuff. So it'll be listen to Carrie talk about prosperity, get to eat, and then get to welcome in the warmth with the expo. And that's, again, going to be from 1 until 5 p.m. And like Angela said, we'll cut the silent auction off about 3 p.m. Also, another really exciting thing coming at the beginning of March is the John of God bed. I got to experience it last year for the first time. If you have not done it, at least do the 30-minute. I'm telling you, it will change your life. And that's going to be from March 3rd to the 5th. Talk to them up front. I think, is it where you have to go online now? I think go online to secure your spot for the John of God bed. I think that would end up being the easiest way, so there's no confusion. Just they'll get the information up front for you. There's also any calendars if you need reminders of what's going on. At this time, I'm asking if there's any prayer requests.
Rose.
Rose. Pam. Arthur. James. Tom. Gary.
Nancy, James, and Larry.
Anyone else? I would like to add just the expo, just because I know this is really important to us, and I would like to send it some good vibes.
And Victoria.
And yeah, we've got Victoria.
Oh,
yeah,
you got it.
yeah, we started our list. Me and Mary just got that. Okay. And anybody else?
The four-legged.
Four-legged,
And the
winged,
and
creepy crawlies, everybody.
and Gaia.
Gaia. Okay. And all right, if there's no more requests at this time, I'm going to invite Miss Mary Jo up here to say our prayers, and we'll send our angels up to take care of that.
Good morning, everybody. So we lift up the names that are here and aren't here, because sometimes we do forget. So we will, we ask for blessings, healing, peace, comfort, release to all of these, so that their highest and best is served. We see them well, we see them happy, and we see them continuing on their path. So it is. As Angela said last night, we worked on the baskets. Santa Claus's workshop had nothing on us last night. They went to, Angela and Trish, I should specify, went to get something to eat. They brought me something back, and as I was sitting here eating, it's like, oh, we need another table, and start bringing all this stuff in, and it came, and they put it on this table, and it came, and they put it on that table, and then we had the wrapping stuff, and it was in all the chairs, and then there was all this shredded stuff, and the Spanish moss, and the filling, and all of that. And I'm like, it'll work out, don't worry, it'll be good. So we just each sort of grabbed something we thought went together, and we had a ton of fun doing it. And so that's what you see up front. So Santa's elves we could substitute for if he ever gets into a pinch. When Victoria asked me on Friday if I would do the lesson today on special relationships and why you don't want one. Now, I never really understood why she added that second part. And she said, well, I've left my Course in Miracles book at the shop for you, and I've marked the chapter, and if you just read it, you're good to go. I love to read. Everybody knows that. I read 2 or 3 books a week on different things. And I said, well, I'll get it tomorrow when I go to the shop. And I'm sure she detected that hesitation in my voice about reading this chapter and being prepared. And so she went ahead and texted me something to read on Friday night. Well, I sat there and I read it, and I'm like, this makes absolutely no sense to me. So somebody is going to have to really step up and step in, call them all in, and just do it. So I went to bed, and I'm like, whatever needs to happen while I'm asleep, just take care of it. So I think they did. So yesterday,
So, yesterday I came to the shop and it was a slow day, but it was a fun day and it ended up on a good note. And again, I went home and I said, okay, we're getting close. So, as Dr. Bass says, I didn't have that warm, fuzzy feeling about it yet. But Tom assured me that all would be well. And I'm like, okay, I believe Tom. He's a really good teacher and he wouldn't lie to me. So I'm like, okay. So this morning I was not quite awake yet, but it was like, okay, you need to get up and just read that material one more time. So I did. I got up and lit my candle, and I was sitting there, and I just started laughing because the examples that they gave me are just wonderful examples of what a special relationship is, and let me assure you, you really don't want it. Now, when we think of something special, it is because someone has picked it out just for us. It's an heirloom. It was grandmother's and she passed it down to me. That's what makes it special. But then there's the other side of the coin. It's those things that we think are special, but they're not really. Because later on, when you look at that, you're like, what was I thinking? Or when you look at that picture of that person, you're like, oh God, alcohol had to be involved. That's all I know. So when you think about yesterday, ask yourself, what do I want to bring forward to today and repeat? What about last week? Monday and Tuesday of this week, I was in Nashville with 5,000 of my wholesaler friends from across the country. And we had the great privilege to hear Peyton Manning. And he is much loved and revered and respected in so many different parts of this great country that everybody was just sitting mesmerized. Now, I'm sure he's had some special moments. But the one thing this morning that I thought about was, he didn't bring all that crap forward. He said the one thing he learned at a very early age playing high school football is when you are 145 pounds quarterback and you're standing there and you're looking for a receiver out there, and out of the corner of your eye you see this 285 brick wall coming towards you, you know, number one, this is not good, and number two, it's really going to hurt. So he's learned at a very early age, don't let that happen. So he prepares every day. He prepares today for the next game, for the next session, for the next whatever. He said they may outplay me, but they'll never out-prepare me. So let me tell you, he probably carries his stuff in a little brown bag. He doesn't need much. He's let all that stuff go. So he's really moving forward, and he is in the now. Even, when he just made that decision to end his career, it's what is best for me right now. So I'm sure he has no regrets, but a lot of more things to look forward to. As many of you know, Victoria was born and raised in Selma, Alabama. And she'll say, sometimes that Alabama just comes out in you. Well, I was born and raised in West Point, Georgia, so we were practically neighbors. We just didn't know it at the time. And that is where I met my children's daddy. Now, he had not grown up in small town USA like I had, but he had been an athlete, and so we met. And I remember as a friend of mine had introduced us, and he looked at me with that little smirk. Well, you're just as cute as a little old speckled pup. Well, I'm sure he meant it in the best of ways. I wasn't particularly excited about that comment. But anyway, we started dating, and then I was invited to go to where he lived. And I'm thinking, well, anybody who, knows about speckled pups can't be all bad. And surely he's got a speckled pup in his home. Well, I went to meet his mom and dad, And the only thing creature-wise that I saw was a very old chihuahua. And it wasn't even cute. So I'm thinking, what does he know about cute little speckled pups? Absolutely nothing, you know. But anyway, long story short, for 20-something years, I was cute as a little old speckled pup. And I didn't like it in the 23rd year as near as much as I liked it the first time I heard it. And I didn't really know why when somebody referred to me as cute, that it just brought out the absolute worst in me. Well, I had moved to Tennessee and was staying with my cousin, and I'm like, you know, I need to get my hair done. And she says, well, you need to go see so-and-so. They're really good. I'll call and make you the appointment. I said, okay, fine. So I go in to get my hair done. And I sit down, and this perfect stranger looks at me and says, you're just cute as a speckled pup.
No.
This veil of red came before my eyes, horns came out. I'm sure my head turned around. I looked at this person, and I assured them in no uncertain terms that I was not then, had never been, and did not plan to be a cute speckled pup. He didn't miss a beat. He looked at the person standing next to him. She forgot her meds. And I'm so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, did you forget your meds? No, you couldn't have, because you don't take any meds. It's okay. You're really okay. Just sit here. Don't say anything else to this person. So I did. For an hour, I sat there in the chair, and he clipped, and he did all this stuff, and he's just talking and carrying on. So when I opened my eyes again, I was very thankful that, number one, my head had not been shaved, and two, what was left did not resemble an Easter egg basket. So see, it's those things that you bring forward with you, those special relationships that absolutely bring out the worst in you. Because you're doing the same thing. You're picking the same type person, the same type job, the same type friends even. You know, you remember in high school, oh, let's go, it'll be fun. And somehow you always were the one that didn't have much fun. And you never understood why you didn't have much fun. It's because you shouldn't have been there. And as you get older and you go off to college and maybe you move cross country to get away from everything, you know, and meet new people and have wonderful experiences, it's like a magnet. It's the same kind of people. And you're not having much fun. And you're like, oh God, why did I move to California? It was supposed to be fun, and I'm learning life and making new friends. And it's the same thing. You do the same thing expecting a different result. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work out that way. Now, what teaches us that? Ego teaches us that. If only. My mother would say, mama, 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 if, I, won't, need. And you knew no chance you were going to get anything it was that you just pleaded with that you absolutely had to have. Because she knew I really didn't need that. If only I get that great job. If only I meet that one person who rides in on that white horse, and I love horses, to save me, to rescue me, you know. If only I get that new house. If only I get the new car. If only. Because ego wants you to believe if you're good enough and you try hard enough and you're sweet enough and you pay enough dues, it'll be different this time. You know, that song from the movie, Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places. Well, if you think about that, do you really think that's what you're going to find if you're in the wrong places? You know, that's why, oh, I met him and he was just perfect. And well, not so much. He really reminds me a lot of that one and that one. And well, see, you know, it's just better. I'll just buy my own bottle of wine and stay home on Friday night. I can remember when I was living by myself. And a dear family friend says, you just need to come out to the lake, stay with us, because you're spending too much time alone. You need to be around people. And I laughed and I lovingly said, but I'm doing good. Well, you can't be doing good. You spend all this time alone. You just go to work. You know, you're not having any fun. You need to come out and be with us. And I said again, but I'm doing good. I'm learning to like me. And I found out I'm pretty good company. You know, I'm not such a great cook, but that's okay. You know, I learned to look in the mirror and like that person. So here we are, 15 years later that I've moved to Tennessee. My plan when I moved here was maybe to be here 6 months, maybe a year, and then I was moving to the beach, because let me tell you, I should have moved 285 miles south instead of north, because I don't do well in this cold temperature here. But I've met some wonderful people. They have certainly changed from the friends that I had before, who always assured me that I wasn't good enough or worthy enough or happy enough or whatever, to where I can get up and do this, and it's fun. And when Victoria called this morning and she said, "Thank you for speaking today," I said, it's going to be fun. I mean, I've been laughing all morning at the examples that they've given me. I worked in a lawyer's office, and he brought in a partner. And so both of them had been gone for several days, and I knew my boss was supposed to be back, but the other one wasn't. So I get the little buzz on the intercom, "Would you please come back to Gary's office?" So I get my steno pad and my pen, and I go back there, and I'm hearing all this, so I'm going down the hallway, and I'm like, well, it must not have gone too good. So I go in, and my boss stands up as I enter the room, and the other one just sits there. And he hadn't even acknowledged I walked in the room. And so I sat down, and I'm ready, you know, to start taking the dictation, and he's just on this tear, and this went wrong, and this went wrong, and that went wrong. He said, "And this one," and he's pointing, and I'm looking to see who else has walked in the room, because I know he couldn't be talking about me. "And this one is the most inept person I have ever run across." My boss didn't speak up, and I thought, well, that's your cue. So I looked at the other person, and I said, "Well, then, you won't be asking me to do anything else for you then, will you?" And I got up and walked out of the room. So I went to my desk, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, you don't even know what inept means, so you better look it up. But it didn't sound very good at the time. And when I read in the dictionary what it meant, I'm like, I'm none of those things. I know better. I know better than that. So then my boss called me in his office, and he said, "Gary's meeting didn't go well." I said, "Really?" I gathered that. He said, "He shouldn't have said that to you." And I said, "No, he shouldn't have." I said, "But I'll tell you this. He is the biggest, pious, condescending SOB I've ever met in my life. And he better not ask me to do anything for him. And you better not ask me to do anything for him." And he said, "Okay." So see, when you stick up for yourself and you change the way people treat you, sometimes it's the right way, sometimes it's the wrong way, but it's effective, you get different results. So when ego says, "Go ahead, try it, it'll be okay, this time it's going to work out," you know better, because you're taking that experience from yesterday or 2 years ago or 20 years ago, and you're bringing it forward. You're skipping over today. It's going to be better next week. It'll be better next month. Last year, how many had a really great 2016 with all the energies and all the political and all the everything else, you know? And here we are in 2017, halfway through the second month. How great has it been, and wonderful has it been? It is what you choose it to be. So don't bring yesterday over thinking, man, tomorrow is just going to be great. I know it is, because it didn't work out this way, but I know I can do it this time, the third time, and the fourth time, and the 10th time. It's going to be better. So how do we fix that? How do we take the special relationships that aren't really that special and just make them a relationship with a car, with a person, with a job, with yourself? How do we do that? And the answer is love. because that special relationship isn't really the true love. It's playing at love. It wants you to think it's love. It wants you to think it's whatever it is you need right now. I want, I need, I gotta have. And you don't. All you need is what you have inside. So if you're looking outside, you're not gonna find it anywhere. It's not under the apple tree. It's not under the leaf. It's not under the toadstool. It's right here. That's where you have to look. That's where you have to start. That's what you have to grow. That's what you have to appreciate. So that any relationship you make special in its own way. Because you know where you're coming from, and then you don't allow anything else to be a part of you or around you. I've decided that Facebook is a great therapist. It can teach you so many things. It can make you laugh. It can make you smile. It can help you keep up with what's going on, whether you really care about it or not. But sometimes, you can just add a word in a conversation so you don't look like the statue standing there with the deer in the headlights. Like, what are they talking about? You can say, oh yeah, I know who won the NASCAR race. I used to do that all the time. I didn't watch a race. I couldn't keep up with it. They were just really going fast, and I hope they didn't crash. But on Monday morning, I knew when I got to work, that's what my boys at work were going to talk about. And I'm like, yeah, that number 27 car, wasn't that great? That was great. And they were like, she's pretty cool because she keeps up the NASCAR. Not really. But I wanted to be a part of, and I wanted them to like me. So now, I don't even do that anymore. But they still like me. When I go to work and they say, MJ, how are you today? The answer they have found will be Monday through Friday, excellent. At 7:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm excellent, because I choose to be. Even if I'm not feeling really great, after a Thursday night class, I'm still excellent. It's what you choose to be. So your special relationships, they can be special, but be sure they are your kind of special. Not what somebody else tells you you need, not what society wants you to believe, but rather what you desire in your heart. And that can be a new job, it can be a new friendship, it can be a new car, it can be a new job, it can be whatever you want it to be. The childhood days of wanting and needing and fixing and, it's time for that to be over. And as you who still have little ones, that's part of your job, is to teach them the wanting and the needing is not really necessary, that they are enough. I worry that many of our children, many of us even, we can't go a day without this. When you go out to eat, if you sit and look around at the people around you, they're not talking to each other. He's checking to be sure that order went through, and she's checking to be sure where the kids are supposed to be tomorrow, and they order, and then they're right back at it, and then they're done, they're leaving. And I'm like, why bother to come out? You stay home and do that, And the kids, when I was on UT campus quite often, here they come, they got that 50-pound pack on their back, and they come through here, and they're like this, and I'm like, I know that's not your mama you're talking to, because mama's at home, 300 miles away, she's working 3 jobs, so you can be here. Have you even called your mama this week? How you doing, mama? I miss you. Could you send some brownies? I haven't had those in a while. Hope I get to come home for Christmas. They're missing it. They're having a lot of special relationships, and they don't even know why. And some of them may never know why. But that's their journey, and hopefully they'll figure it out. But for us in this room and those at home, just know that that special relationship is what you make it out to be. Don't make the mistake again You know, what do they say? The first time it's a mistake, and the second time it's a choice. Don't make the mistake, don't make the choice, don't make that decision to keep repeating what you know is not good. It's not going to end with a happily ever after. You know, that's not any fun. And it rips your heart out at times. It makes you cry. And it makes you sad. And why would you choose to be any of those things? Sometimes tears are necessary. Sometimes they're good tears, happy tears. But for the most part, if it's that special relationship kind, it just wrecks you. You know, when you go and you see all the cars that have rusted and they're just there, and it's a shell and the inside is gone. And sometimes when we look at people, that's what we see. The body's there, but there's nothing inside. It's rusted out. And that happens whether you're 27 or 87. You know, it's whatever you have chosen. So the special relationship sometimes isn't great. We ask ourselves, what can I do to make my life better? And the answer is, love yourself. Because if you don't love you, how can I expect you to love me, or you to love me, or anybody to love me? You know, have you ever seen a person that a dog wouldn't go close to? Dogs are usually so happy to see everybody. You know, and that tail's just going, they're just so glad to see you. You ever seen anybody a dog would go around? Dogs are smart. You know, so when you see a person like that, cut them loose. Let them go. If a dog doesn't love them, that says a lot. So be mindful of that. There are always hints about those other people that we invite into our lives. You know, they want to remind you of what you are not, or what you were not. Many of us have had the opportunity to go to a 10-year class reunion. And when you got that invite, you're like, I don't want to go. I didn't like them then. Well, it makes me think I don't like them now. So you skip the 10-year reunion, and then it gets to be the 25-year reunion. And you're like, well, everybody's forgotten about that. You know, I had the naturally curly hair. I wore the funky glasses. You know, my mama made all my clothes. It'll be okay, and I'll be safe if I go to the 25-year reunion. And I'm going to look my best, and I'm going to make everybody eat their words. So you spend, you know, $300 on the dress and the hair and the makeup so you can go to your 25-year class reunion and look at everybody. And when you get there, you just bust out laughing because that high school quarterback now has a beer belly, no hair, and he looks like a bulldog. No offense to bulldogs. You know, and that beauty queen that everybody just thought was drop dead gorgeous, had a personality like a sack, but she was pretty. You know, now, you know, she's 100 pounds overweight. You know, her hair has not been done in months, and she ain't happy either. So guess what? All those special relationships, they're not so special. But it's fun to go and see and hear the stories, and you don't really have to stay but just to eat because you paid for the meal. Why be reminded of the do you remember when? Because that is their opportunity to once again put you down and raise them right back up so they feel good about themselves. Well, good for them. But you don't have to play the part. You don't have to be that piece of the puzzle for them anymore. Smile, had a good time, thanks for inviting me, and you're gone. And you know without a shadow of a doubt, if you make it long enough to go to a 50-year class reunion, you ain't going to that one either. So, you know, you just wish it well. And that class of 100 is probably about 37 now because they've passed from the drinking and the drugging and the hard living and bad genes and bad cholesterol and everything else. So, what do you do? So, you just be that person that you're supposed to be. And instead of that negative special relationship start building those relationships where that special has a different meaning. That you are that person that people want to be around and be with. And you are the life of the party because they know when they look at you that you're honest and you're sincere and where you're coming from. Can't ask for much more than that. You know, it doesn't cost a lot of money. My mom used to say, be nice, it doesn't cost you a nickel. Just smile. Because it always makes them wonder what you're smiling about. You know? You can look at some people and they just make you smile. You know? And then it's like not necessarily of what they've done that reminds you of that funny time, but just something else you're thinking about that brings a smile to your face. Always makes them wonder, why is she smiling all the time? Why is she always so happy? You know? Not that I want that for myself. I just don't want her to be happy. You know what I mean? It's just awful. Nobody should be that happy all the time. Well, why not? Where does it get you to be sad all the time? Where does it get you to be the witch of the year? You know, and we all know who she is. So it's fun. It can be different if we just choose it to be. So this week, as we go out, I don't have any meetings in Nashville, but I anticipate having a really great week anyway. It's always fun, something different. I can honestly say that's one thing I enjoy about my job. I don't do the same thing every day. I sort of show up and then they'll say, can you do this? Can you do this? And I'm like, yeah, I got time. I can do that. So it's always fun for me. Just like last night, Angela's like, you didn't sign up for this. And I'm like, no, but we had fun. So that's all that matters. And we got it done. So it's making yourself be available to have those special relationships. And make them special, and make them yours, and make them for the right reason. And when those people start, and they're like, oh yeah, I remember when, even if it was 40 years ago, they have a very short memory, don't they? You know, they're not looking for anything good and new in you, because they want to remember that. Which now, when I see those people, I'm like, bless your heart. You need to either move, get some new friends, you know, change the way you're doing things. But that's not my right to fix them or tell them or anything else. I just smile them, give them a hug and a smile, and go on my way. And try not to have to be around that energy again. And it is about the energy. You can read it, you can see it, you can feel it, you know, in the grocery. And with those 5,000 people, let me tell you, that energy was swirling around, and I had to go out and sit down twice. Somebody said, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, bad energy. It'll be all right in a minute. And they just look at me and smile because they know Mary Jo's crazy anyway. It's okay. She's doing that thing. Whatever that thing is. But she's happy. So there's one or two that have said, why are you happy? And then when I tell them, they're like, wow, you can do that? I'm like, yeah, you can too. And you can too. And anybody can if you choose to. So that's all they have for today, through me, for you. So thank you for letting me be here today. Hope you go out and make very special new relationships this week.
Thank you. Thanks for happening.
I was told to bring 2 bowls this morning, so this will be interesting. We'll see how this works out.